there is no better means of sustaining a crisis, and in fact, keeping your troops and yourself healthy, than the constant communications. And that can be difficult in as much as you might feel you're repeating yourself all the time, or you might feel you're continuously telling the same story. And like, well, it's only by that repetition and that continuum of communications that it will sink in. And just look at how often they're telling us, to wash our hands and things of this nature in this current crisis. Well, they got to do it because it's not necessarily part of our normal routines to that extent. And so you're educating, you're helping them, and you're giving them tools to survive. And so you can't do it alone. And that's the most dominant thematic of communications in regards to the leadership in a crisis. You've got to keep links with peers, with authorities that are either higher, or simply communicating with those in which you have trust and are familiar with, in order that you can ensure that you're not building up inside you the stresses, and also it could potentially even be the guilt of decisions that you're taking in some of these ethical and moral dilemmas that you're facing. So you have got to make sure you don't feel alone, that you are communicating, that you're talking to other human beings, even if it's only to vet and then be able to feel that you're not alone in this exercise. And the second dimension of that is that you'll not solve it alone. So you might as well establish that communication so that you are sustained and in fact encouraged. For those who are working for the troops, if I would call it, their demands are absolutely critical. They have got to be able to talk amongst not only themselves, but they've got to hear repeatedly the message that is pertinent to your handling of the crisis, to the reality that's there. And the overriding factor, overriding dimension of your communications with them and what they expect is you don't try to outsmart them. You don't try to treat them like grade 9 students. That in fact, you tell them what is happening, and you maintain your credibility by in fact giving them the real duff, and not by attempting to walk around it, smooth around it for whatever reason you might think is applicable. If you don't have all the answers, then you got to tell them you don't, and that you are working on it. But if you try to BS your way into this, they'll catch you out. You'll lose credibility, and they'll see it in your eyes, and then your ability to keep the team viable and survive this with the minimum amount of casualties will be significantly eroded.